Is it true, in your opinion, that people said if you are in cybersecurity, then you can always survive only with technical skill, or
Well,
actually you need something else?
cybersecurity is not only technical; it's also about trust and relationship with the
Mm.
person you work for. If there is no trust or relationship between you and the person you work for, then it's going to be a very hard thing. Because once you put equipment in someone's network, you can see actually all of the mistakes. People don't want to have that. You don't want to have that information on the street. A lot of
Hey,
things.
by the way, Harold, so in total, as of today, like how many years have you been working as
Working.
of today? Working.
Oh,
Who's
that's
working?
that's I don't know if I want to answer that question.
Oh no, that is fine. You can always say 20 plus.
Yeah. Well, it's
People
it,
will
it's
guess
it's
how
it's
many
more
plus.
it's more like 30 plus already.
30
Yeah.
plus. Okay.
Yeah.
And then out of this 30 plus, how many years in security, or always in security?
No, but at the time that I started, security was not a big issue. At least not in, in
What do
not
you
in
mean by
IT.
that a big issue?
No, at the time that I started, it was like in the 90s, beginning of the
Mhm.
90s, where we still had as communication X25 or just the normal telephone lines where we used for data transportation. And once you had
Mhm.
a connection, yeah, everyone was happy, and you can just transfer your data from A to B, and that's it.
Is it the model with the sound?
Exactly. One of my tools was just a horn of a telephone with the
Mhm.
two wires, and you just
Mhm.
put the two wires on the wires of the KPN side, and then you can hear if there was noise or no noise. Yeah, and at the time you had your modem. The modem is
Yeah.
yeah, and you had to actually strap, that's how to call it, put your dip switches in the correct order to get your data transferred, and you had to data DTR, data transfer ready, data carrier, data set ready, and all these things. There was a time that you also need to make your own cables. So it's not prepared. Yeah.
Right.
So
Okay.
yeah, let's
Make
let's
your own
let's give it
cable.
like
Alright.
30 plus. But I have to say that having that knowledge also helps now, because now
Mm.
everything is packed in an application and no one knows how it really works under the hood. It's like, oh yeah, but we have to fill in these fields and then it should work. But if it doesn't work, no one knows why.
Uh, but then when you said it
Cybersecurity is
back then,
something,
back then,
yeah.
not really a problem. Like, when do you remember when exactly you kind of like switch from technical technicians or kind of like technical related role to really security? Is like someone force you to do it, or just?
I really worked a long time in data communication. So as a network
Mhm.
engineer, network consultant,
Mm.
just make sure that connectivity is there. And especially in an international environment where you have your WAN, so your wide area networks, so connecting countries and actually customers, offices around the world using all types of networks based on MPLS, X25, just IP, frame relay, ATM, all these things. And the most important thing is that you just make sure that on those network customers' data was not, let's say, interfering each other. So make sure that your data is not getting in contact with customers' other data, but that is something that the protocols were doing for you. So you had some
Mm.
kind of segmentation. Maybe that was the first part of a security thing, but you didn't see it as a security thing, more as a need to have, because
Yeah.
your common sense was saying that you don't want to see data of someone else. Yeah, but
Yeah.
we didn't really call it as security, although it was security. And then later, in the later stadiums, you had firewalls protecting the endpoints and so on. But the security part is, I think, somewhere where it started is for me, which is also a long time ago. I think around 2007, 2008, where security became a very big topic, and that's when I started my own first company with two other guys, and we were doing networking and security. So we were mentioning security as being one part, but still security was for a lot of businesses and companies something new, because
Mm.
everyone was actually, we were coming from a time that you had to worry about your connectivity, that you can go from A to B. And once you have that, then everyone was happy because it was in a very closed environment, and internet was not a big issue by then. And once internet got, let's say, involved, and actually as a third party which you cannot trust, there's when security became a big thing, because then you get everyone from outside into your network. And then you
So
had
basically, it sounds like back then, the focus is okay. Functionally, I need this to get it to be ready to function, to get it done, and then security come, let's say, as a second priority. But it also sounds the same like today. Nothing much changed then.
yeah, in that sense, you're maybe a little bit right. But now when you have your consultants at the table, in their back of their head, once you make a, let's say, a design of a network, you always have now connectivity in your head. Sorry, security in your head. Because back in
Mm,
those days, we were saying like, okay, if you can ping the other side, and ping is like a protocol. Okay, you're getting a reply from a device which is somewhere else, you were happy. Now, so nowadays you don't want, maybe you don't want to see the ping reply coming back from the other side, because it also gives someone else who can do the same thing an idea like, hey, there is something on that side. Let's further investigate what that can be. And you don't want that. So in
that
that
also
sense,
happened.
our work changed. So let's say from of course you have people who are very skilled in configuring networks, but also with in the back of their head, we have to be we have to think about security, and if it's networking security or port security or whatever type of security. But security is a topic, and it's always now on the table, or at the table, when you're talking to customers.
Yeah, looking at your CV on LinkedIn, which is like, ooh, it's very long,
Yeah.
very very interesting companies as well. Like then, my assumption you've worked with so many different people from a different industries, from different companies. What is the most annoying? I call it
Hmm?
most always you hear that a lot again and again from whoever you work with, and you keep telling them, guys, it's just a myth. No, it's not true. The truth is XYZ. Like, what is the most common annoying statement or maybe question that you've heard from your experience
About cybersecurity?
about cybersecurity?
Yeah, well, but people always think that, oh, you work. So I don't know what's happened. You work in
Nice. Huh?
cybersecurity, so you must be very busy.
Oh, so we are not busy.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're busy, but it's not that people are standing in front of your door like, "Hey, I need your help."
Yeah.
And what's another myth about cybersecurity? They always think you're in cybersecurity, so you know how to hack networks.
Which do you? That's my
Well,
question. Like, do you?
I'm not a hacker.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not an ethical hacker. Of course, if I see data, which you do when you put your equipment into a network, you can sometimes see data if it's not encrypted or whatever, or you can relate data, or even if you want to know something about someone, you just go on the internet, type in someone's name, and you can put just relationships. And if you don't find it directly from that person, you just find it from his daughter, brother, or whatever. I don't know if that's hacking, but information is there. People always think that you're in cybersecurity, so you make a lot of money. You have a good living.
And
You have a good living, but
and the reality is
and the reality is that you still need to work very hard. I think in the beginning, when cybersecurity was still something like, oh, it's fancy and people didn't know about it, yeah, then maybe you could earn good money. But now it's something which is it's more and more necessary. You see it also from governments, is that they pushing companies just to, hey, you have to focus on it, which means that on the market you've got lots of people who are experts in cybersecurity. What means if there is a lot, price goes down.
supply and demand.
But still, it's not something about money, or it's you love your job. You just want to make things secure and advise people. And by advising people, you don't need to ask money all the time. So if you really want to do it for the money, maybe you have to work. Yeah, it's not that. That's not my goal, not my drive. So
Okay.
yeah,
Well, fair enough. Fair enough.
just
But
good advice.
but so far, I mean, working for 30 plus years, is it true, in your opinion, that people said, oh, if you are in cybersecurity, then you can always survive only with technical skill, or
No,
actually you need something else?
cybersecurity is not only technical; it's also about trust and relationship with the person you work for. If there is no trust or relationship between you and the person you work for, then yeah, it's going to be a very hard thing, because once you put equipment in someone's network, is that you can see actually all of their mistakes. People don't want to have that maybe that you don't want to have that information on the street. I think trust is also a very big, yeah, big important thing. One of the biggest things that you
Mm.
need to have. Yeah,
So then how do you react when someone said, oh, security? So always say no.
you think the people that say no, it's the same thing as yeah, why should I have security on my computer at home? Yeah, my firewalls may be enough, and I can have open internet, whatever. As long as if things are not happening to you, and then people are just like, it did not happen in the last 10 years, so why should I worry? And it's not going to happen to me. And you see that a lot of people think like that. And in my opinion, if things are too good to be true, it's not true.
If it's too good to be true, most likely it's okay. All right, it's not true. All right. All right, I'll keep that there. Maybe that's as a title for this episode. Like, if things too good to be true, then most likely
Yeah,
it
well,
is
you
not.
hear it nowadays also on the news when kids are playing their online games, and they are getting approached to by someone, and that person is like, okay, I can offer you this and this and this if you. There are no one day millionaires.
True.
Yeah. And especially young people think like, okay, by maybe going on the web, doing something, if it's crypto, or there's always someone else who's making the money, and probably not you.
Yeah, actually, that story happened quite a lot, and in many countries, even the story of getting scammed, getting rich because they follow some kind of investment gurus.
Hmm.
Yeah, no, you're right. If it sounds too good to be true, most likely it's not true. No, no, that's a good one. That's a good one. That's a good one. That's a good one. But then, if we go for this profession, right? Like, I mean, of course, you started early. Me as well. I never thought about directly going to security. I think my first so after graduating, my first thought was, okay, I'll do some programming somewhere, just like a normal web developer. I think back then PHP is still like in the beginning, it's very hot. Everywhere is
Uh-huh.
PHP. Although until now I believe it's still PHP, although with a different flavor. If you can turn your time back, or maybe for someone who are now, almost graduate, or thinking about the next job, do you see this is a good industry for them to start with, or no, you should start somewhere first before coming to security? Like, what's your take on that?
No, if you look at uh, at universities or high schools, or what they teach people. I also give people the opportunity to do the internship
Yep.
here.
Internship. Yep.
And you see that in the IT study that they do, that security is becoming a very important thing. And in my opinion, is that the earlier you can start with security, so with IT security, cybersecurity, yeah, the better it is, because the world is getting much more complex with AI. You cannot almost recognize something from real and which is not real anymore.
Mm.
You need people with good skills who can help companies, people, advise them. Like, okay, this request that you're getting from that person, that's not real. Sometimes you cannot even judge as a human which is real or not real, and therefore you need tools. And sometimes these tools go into very depth. Yeah, if you, let's say, are the salesperson selling cars, you don't want to worry about all these IT details, and therefore you need someone who can help you protect your business with his or her knowledge, if that makes a little bit
Mm.
sense. So therefore, I think, yeah, if you go into a profession of want keep security in mind. And if it's software development or you're going to connectivity, networking, whatever, security is always something there. And yeah, you can specialize yourself in security. So yeah, I think it's still a good thing to get involved and do that. What I'm now doing for the last let's say 3 to 4 years is more in OT security. And OT security is like industrial security, and that's because there's lots of legacy in the industry. If you want to focus on IT security, don't only focus on, let's say, protecting an office, but also plants like oil, gas, all these things. Nasty things can happen if someone can hack those kind of environments.
But then it sounds like you don't believe AI will replace our work. I mean, because my friends in other side of IT, whether it's programming or even network engineer, like
Mhm.
for example, for network engineer, back then when cloud becomes a thing, it's like, oh, okay, my job's gone. Or now programmer, oh, this AI can make a website in just prompting, my job is
Yeah.
busted. So for security, you don't believe AI will replace us anytime soon?
Well, I think it's always going to be a joint venture between humans and AI and technology. And that's with everything. Yeah. It's also about trust. I don't know if you want to sit in a plane where there is no one sitting in front of it because you believe it AI will do it for you. Hey, maybe it's gonna happen, but yeah, maybe too old school to see that happen. And maybe younger people which are now growing up will grow up with that knowledge and then say, okay, it can happen. But for me, that's now, if you look at now, it's not like AI is going to replace everything because you still need, yeah, let's say the human touch. And I think that's something that people will always have. Also in
Yeah.
industries, if you go, let's say, into a factory, you will see everything will go automated, but still there will be a human that if something really goes wrong because the
Yeah,
computer
the
says
hero.
no, he can push the button and yeah, to a certain limit, that person is, yeah, how do you say that? Is that
The operator.
the operator is not maybe one if he has a working day starting from 8 till 5 in a week, he will never push the button. The smarter, let's say, the AI tools or your technology is going to be, the less you need to do, but he still needs to be there because it's about human trust. It's no one is going to replace that. That's what I think.
Yeah, because in at least in my sector of business right now, we always hear about now I have this new AI tool. I can help any company to be compliant in a few hours or a few days. Sometimes I thought like, wow, then my job will just busted anytime soon.
Uh,
And then once in a while, I was like, oh, very apparently it's not true. I told you,
mm.
but
It's the same with
you prefer to.
ChatGPT. You're not depending on, yeah, you ask a question, getting an answer, but you're still going to read maybe and rephrase things because you don't want to send an answer which is created by a robot. You
Yeah,
need
true.
the
Especially in.
human feeling needs to be in the.
Yeah, and then especially in like in the beginning. I mean, now it's getting better. Getting better. I mean, you know that I have now a second product called Guthries. It's like a ChatGPT, but for compliance.
Uh-huh.
But one of the reasons why we built that was like everybody, very, can you cut your rate? Because now and then you can just, ask ChatGPT and then, you basically all questions just ask to ChatGPT. And then after that, I help them build it or implement it in their day-to-day job. But then every time I go to ChatGPT, it always says, wait a second, it feels like this is the old version of the standard. Like, do you have a newer version of it? And then now, as we build gut risk along the way, now I understand more and more. I mean, to be honest, I'm not an expert in AI. My team is, and then the way we build it, the way we talk about it, then yeah, it's all about data actually. Whatever you give them, whatever you give it, it will just consume and then make that assumption based on that data. So if your data is still old one, it will always give you the old answer. If it consumes wrong information, it will also deliver you wrong information. And then who is the one who now fixing it? The human.
Human, yeah,
So
yeah,
in our company, myself is I don't know which movie, but I remember that there was one movie back in the early 2000 or late 90s. There's like a sci-fi movie where someone like plug in a USB to his head, try to download all his knowledge, and then put it in the computer. So now me trying to train Gatris is like that. So someone asks a question like why the answer like this, and then it will come to my desk that there's a feedback. Hey, why the answer is like this? Oh yeah, this doesn't make sense. Okay, so if me as a consultant, this is my will be my answer, and then Gatris will learn again. So I feel now like oh yeah, apparently AI also works with the knowledge that it has. If it doesn't have the right knowledge, like for
yeah.
example, okay, wrong industry, then yeah, the advice will be like, what is this?
You have to be, yeah, you have to be very specific, and also, yeah. Well, you always need to read back, or yeah, as a human, yeah. I don't know if you know, maybe yeah, the computer can think very fast, but the human touch, what we have as human, I don't know if you can, till what level you can learn that to a computer. I think we can come or go very far with what we are doing, and in the future it will get better and better. But still, even if it's 20% or 10%, you will need that human, because then, and if not, then we are maybe in 3030 or something like that, where computers are ruling the world, and we are just work as slaves for the computer instead of computers work for us. Maybe
Yes,
that's
my
going
lord.
to happen. Not in my lifetime, I think. Yeah.
Yes, my lord. I will do that.
Yeah, well, if they are smarter than we are, that means that,
But so far, has there been any moment in your life like I think I'll just change field? The reason why I ask this is because I think last week or 2 weeks before, like I read some articles about the level of burnout in security field. People are leaving the profession, but like yourself, I also have some other colleagues, ex-colleagues who are been in the field for so long and seems like they're okay. Then my question is like, what do you do to balance yourself out of the again? Just assume everybody correct that it's a stressful job.
I understand your question, because there's also something like, people look at maybe what you have, but they don't see the stress. I
Mm,
always call it, we work on, let's say, in an
yeah. Okay. Yeah.
and we work on patients. And once we open the patient, we need to close the patient. The patient
Yeah.
needs to breathe again, and that brings a lot of pressure, especially in operations. And that's why I think it's more than 10 years ago that I stop from doing operation work, because that always brings a lot of stress. Work in the middle of the night, getting paged, something is not working, it needs to get worked again. And I'm like, okay, I don't want to do that anymore, because that brings stress. And of course, if you're a consultant, it also, and you need to give advice, also gives you some stress, but different. Operations is, I've worked, I see sometimes, let's say, literally 48 hours to get things fixed, because people are waiting. Yeah, yes, it's like, yeah, maybe 2 days is, but you know the feeling like you need to get to sleep, but you cannot go to sleep because you need to fix things, because
Mm,
if you
mm.
don't fix it, yeah, it has big consequences, and that's something that I don't want anymore. Yeah, that could give you a burnout. I never had a burnout. I still like what I need to do. What I do is, I always do a lot of sports next to
Golf.
my golf, for example.
For those who listening, Harold is a very big person in golf.
I'm not Tiger Woods, but I'm trying. But the most important thing is this: once you do whatever kind of sport, or maybe you read a book, is that you just forget what you do in your daily work and just focus on that. And sport helps me with that, because if it's just 1 hour, 2 hours, you don't think about, okay, the problem that you have at work. Just focusing on what you're doing at that time. And I think people need to do that more and more. Yeah, working in IT is also something like, your family needs to support you, because especially again in operations, it's like you can work now it's quiet and within an hour you're busy. But that's the same if you work at an ambulance or whatever. So family support in what you're doing is important. That they need to understand what you're doing.
That's true. 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 It's the same like the previous guest I have. He told me that there's always work,
Yeah, there's always
but
work. Yeah,
the time has limit.
yeah,
So you have to decide what you do with your time. Like,
yeah.
okay, got it.
But prioritizing is also something that everything is important nowadays. You cannot make
Yeah,
a
that's
list. Yeah, yeah. Your list is now horizontal because you cannot have something going down. It's just like horizontal because everything is important. You
mm.
know what I say? So
Yeah, it's funny because we also have a couple of clients the other day. Ferry, we need it ASAP. Okay, great. When do you need it? In a week?
yeah,
Wait a second. Our definition of ASAP is different.
yeah. But for them,
Oh, in
it's
a week.
yeah, in a
Okay,
week.
got it.
But if you have other things to do, a week can put pressure on you because if you say yes,
Yeah,
I
true.
maybe it's just one customer, but if three people say, well, within a week, then you're quite busy.
Yeah, true. One last question. I mean, I travel a lot to Asia. And by the way, for listener who listening in for a couple of episodes, Harold is one of security professionals who have a very, let's say, good connection with me in terms of experience in Indonesia. Because Harold been there, he loves the country, he loves the people, and he wants to go there again, right?
This year,
Still?
we're going this year.
This year. Oh, even this year,
Back,
2026.
we're going back to the other part of Java. So, yeah.
All right, all
So
right.
this year we're traveling there again,
Okay. All
bringing
right.
other people just to see, yeah, other family members. By the way,
Nice.
my wife is from Java, but that's a historical thing. Yeah.
Cool.
And yeah, we love the country.
Nice, nice. So every time I go to Indonesia, I always try to find time. Sometimes I offer my own time, begging to some university, please allow me to share my experience. Please allow me to share my experience to students. It's just because I think there are many things that, sure, there are a lot of information on the internet, but there are things that are not yet said on the internet and different when you are there in person. You kind of like mentoring them. You tell them your experience. You told them basically those that are not mentioned on the internet. So my last question is, if I put you in front of these students, last year students, typically last year students studying in IT, what would you say to them?
Difficult question. Difficult question. Yeah, what can I say to them? It's like, yeah, if you're studying IT, complete your study because studying is so important.
Very
Let's
important.
start
Very
with the
important.
with that. And yeah, there is a reason why you choose this study. So once you finish, go into the wide world and experience how it is to work in IT because it brought me a lot and I'm still enjoying it even after so many years. And that's maybe because I saw how IT involved, not involved, but evaluate. How do I say that?
Evolve.
Yeah,
Evolve.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's the word I was looking for. And that's it's something that will keep on going. So you study now, you finish or you graduate now, and yeah, actually during your whole time while you're working, you will be studying, maybe not going to class, but doing consultative work or work for different companies. That's also part of your journey and enjoy it because yeah, it's nice and don't only look at yeah, your IT skills, but also look at the people you're doing it for. So it's not always on the technical side of the IT, what you've studied, but also the people that you help with the knowledge that you have.
So once again, Harold, thank you so much for saving your valuable time and talking to me today. And for those of you who are listening in, once again, thank you very much for coming back to our new episodes with Harold. And as I always said, this is our first season. I know there are plenty of things I need to improve myself or the whole team. If you have any feedback, don't hesitate to contact us. After this, you also can see Harold's profile, LinkedIn. We will put it on the descriptions. Connect with Harold, talk to him as well separately, connect with him, learn from him. And the whole idea of our podcast Beyond Hoodies is actually we want to highlight the persons behind the profession. So those of us who are working in cybersecurity, we are not all, or at least not all of us, always working in the hoodies.
No.
As you can see, Harold, no hoodies as well, no hoodies. And most of us actually have to come to work with shirt, with the jacket, sometimes with tie as well. So cybersecurity doesn't always about hoodies. Cybersecurity is also not always about pen testing, hacking, or that kind of stuff. The spectrum is very, very big. And as what I keep telling everybody, cybersecurity is an industry. So if you are very passionate in, let's say, UI and UX, even if you are very good at language, like old style language, we need people like you to do a good copywriting, to help people understand what we are trying to tell people. So it is an industry. So don't hesitate to see cybersecurity as an industry of your choice when you graduate as well. And yeah, we always need you. Once again, thank you so much for joining us, and then see you in the next episode. Bye bye.
Thank you very much. Dankjewel. Bye.